let's see if we can do this. So, going to be going back and forth between the directions and actually doing it. So, if there are any jump cuts, I'm consulting the instructions. So, we are supposed to have these tools. However, I don't seem to have any wrenches that are that small. So, I'm going to be trying to make do with these instead. I expect everything will be fine, but we will see. Alright. Step 1, raise the z-axis so we have room. Raised for room. Should be okay. Step 2, remove cooling fan duct. Okay, I have a replacement duct, but I will remove it anyway. Fan removed. Now, the next step is preheat to 250. I already did that when I removed my filament, so I don't need to do that. Oh, actually, it says 250. I will do it to 250. I am currently at 60. So, let's do... turn the bed temp off. I don't need that on. Okay, it says preheat to 250, so I'm preheating to 250. Okay, nozzle is now at 250. So let's see if we can do this without breaking anything. Looks like I'm going to need a different wrench. So let me go see if I can do that. Okay, I have returned triumphant with trusty channel locks. Okay, now let's see if with the combination of these guys, if I am able to see why they say to use Hey. Looks like I am tearing that up. So maybe I'll just be running out for a new set of tools this evening. Alright, so after a quick run to the big box store, I have returned with the appropriate tools. Now, let's see if this will go better second time around. I am preheating the nozzle. Still use that one. Alright. It is up to 250. Now going back to the directions. Remove original nozzle while supporting heater block with adjustable wrench. Be very careful. Nozzle is extremely hot. Use a 9mm wrench for the nozzle. So I am going to use adjustable wrench for the heating block and 9mm wrench for for the nozzle. But the good news is that it worked. The nozzle is free. All right, the nozzle is free. Let's see if I can turn the heat off yet. No, but it looks like once I do this, then turn everything off and just let it sit for a bit, let it cool off. So it was just spinning. There we go. Now, this is the whole reason that I'm doing this, is because of this plastic piece right here. It's actually a plastic called PTFE. I'll try to remember to put on the screen somewhere what that stands for. But the gist is that at higher temperatures, so temperatures higher than PLA, so if you're doing ABS or some such, then you have a risk of melting that and it goes bad. But in the micro Swiss, you gotta focus. Both pieces are all metal. So there is no risk of burning or melting or any of that. And it can run at much hotter temperatures and it's supposed to get you much more consistent prints. Now, while this is cooling, I'm going to take a break and I will be back. Alright, it has cooled down a bit, so off camera I didn't do much. I unplugged the printer, I unplugged the stepper motor and grabbed just a secondary light that I could use for doing this. So now get to unplug the stepper motor, unscrew and remove fan heatsink assembly while holding stepper motor. So it looks like in the instructions that is going to be this guy. Those out of the way. Now I get to come up from the bottom using another Allen key to undo the cooling block. And I dropped the screw down behind. Oh, it's not too bad. Okay. 2 screws. loosen the screw holding the thermal tube in place. Take the let's make that guy get the same size. No, of course not. Now we use a smaller one. This is just a set screw, so it doesn't need to come out. It just needs to be loose. Oh, it feels like this is already ready to unscrew out of. Okay. Heating block, cooling block, all that fun stuff. All right, now remove this guy. All right, now I can show you where that tube went, that PTFE tube. Show what a difference it makes. So this is the stock tube. A big hole, if it'll focus, is where the PTFE tube went. This is the micro Swiss Hotend. There is no PTFE tube. It is all metal, all the way through, just enough diameter for the filament. That is what you want. Okay, now that it is apart, I want to get the new Hotend and screw it in until it bottoms out, and then say back it off a quarter turn. So bottoms out, quarter turn. Now, using finger pressure, screw in the thermal barrier tube until it bottoms out. All right, make sure, they say, I did. It is in there. Now we will install the thermal tube into the new cooling block. And the thing about the new cooling block is it's the old one, set screw that pinches the feed tube. On the new one, it's slotted. It has a set screw that pinches, so it doesn't press against the feed tube at all. So we want to look like that. And then use the included Allen key. Down too far. Alright, let me check to see how much room is supposed to be in here. Aluminum piece of thermal tube should be sticking up about 1.7 millimeters from the top of the cooling block. So might adjust to calipers. So I live in the United States of America and we don't believe in millimeters. And 1.7 millimeters is not very much at all. So I definitely had that down too far. Oh, you know what? I can do that. And these wires want to coil in a certain direction, which are fighting me the whole way. All right. There we go. 1.7 millimeters. And tighten. And double check. Set down the Allen key. .71 millimeters. Nailed it. All right, now make sure this is tight and get rid of the fun stuff that I pulled out when I was cooling down and removing the filament from the old one. Install it back on the carriage. Basically do everything in reverse. So you go here. Don't need you. So just putting the screws in. And I don't know if I'm really supposed to jam these down, but I am getting them fairly secure. So I don't want them moving at all. Okay, now while I'm here, take a look at my gear. I see that's something that I'm going to have to look at or replace. Or this gear is one that a lot of people will replace. Some people will replace this whole assembly. This is the lever that basically it's a release lever. The filament feeds through here, and this is sort of like an idler sort of bearing that will push against the drive, and it will feed it down into the hot end. Some people will replace that gear for a more toothy or aggressive gear, and that may be something I take care of in the future, but for now it is not something I am worried about. So there's there. Now we just put everything back. Okay. This assembly is feeling a bit more solid now. And the only thing that I've noticed is that for whatever reason, these don't seem to have the same amount of slack that they did before. I don't know if that's just because I was mucking about or what, but that makes me nervous. Okay, they say now say. And now, this should be good. So, install the fan, heatsink, stepper motor assembly, connect stepper motor cables. I did all that. Alright, next is turn the thing back on and preheat to 250 again. I wish I could figure out why all of a sudden now this is all springy. Let us investigate a little bit. That's probably not the way to do that, but it has relieved the pressure that I was concerned about. And they're not going to get in the way of anything, so make sure everything is plugged back in, those are all plugged in. Okay, turn the printer back on. That all looks okay so far. And we'll do extruder temp to 250. And now we wait. All right, 250. So Grab this dude again. So this time we are going tight. Okay. And hopefully that is how you install an all-metal hot end.